On August 23rd of this year, I held an end of the summer live stream where I asked you guys what games you wanted to see me play, and one came up that I'd never played before. I got about 45 minutes in before I died, and after that I wound up moving on to a different game, but I promised that someday I'd get back to it, but I didn't say when and how. Well, that time is now. Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, and let's play Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo, Blind. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the term, a blind run is another way of saying I've never played this game before, which is a little bit of a lie considering I did play a little bit in the stream, but only up to a certain point. And I know those of you that are purists about the blind run sort of thing will... I don't even know what icon cancel is. Will want to see that stream footage, so I uploaded it as unlisted yesterday. I wanted to make sure that you guys got to see this first, so it didn't seem like it was a really random upload. And before we get started, I want to say I don't know as much about this game as I should, simply because I didn't want to accidentally spoil anything for myself. And I'd prefer if you guys kept the spoilers to an absolute minimum. If you think anyone else in the world would get some minor bit of happiness out of my not knowing something, don't tell me what it is. That's the purpose of this run. Now, with that in mind, let's get started.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Do we not have to do anything then? Oh, hi Samus. I'm guessing those were the events of the first game. And I'm guessing those are the events of the second. I don't know what the second game is. I know the first one was the original Metroid for the NES. This is kick-ass music. Now this part I remember explicitly from the stream where I said, why in the world would Samus take the larva back to a space station for research? It's just asking for disaster. And then Sten said something, and I told him that if it's a spoiler, I'd murder him in his sleep. So, I may already know the ending to this game, which really, really upsets me. And Sten is still alive, so I haven't murdered him in his sleep yet. Just pondering that for a little bit. Maybe it's still in the back of my mind, perhaps. I kind of figured this would happen. Oh, I didn't notice she actually closed her eyes there. Man, I gotta tell you, for the Super Nintendo game, that was pretty impressive. The way the ship flew in from the foreground. Alright, so we've arrived at our obligatory tutorial area. Now this is the only area of the game I know relatively well because I've had to do about a dozen test recordings to make sure this works, and since this is going to be blind, I couldn't go beyond this without sacrificing the integrity of the run. So, there you go. And the one thing that I don't necessarily like about the recording setup is that, I mean, I can't avoid it. YouTube has a limit for 30 frames per second. So, since it only captures every other frame, and a lot of graphics in this game flicker at 60 FPS instead of 30, like, for example, you'll only see half of my shots. I don't know how to fix that or to make that any better than it is. If you have any advice, by all means let me know before this gets too far in. And also the remainder of the extent of my Metroid knowledge, I believe this thing is called Ridley. But I mean, a lot of things that I learned about this game early on I really, really like how the music in this particular area is going in and out in volume, like it gets very loud and then very quiet and then very loud again, but it maintains the same beat, the same rhythm. I really like that. What does Ridley want with this stupid thing anyway? I mean, I'm sure I'll figure out at some point what Ridley wants with it, or if Ridley's working for something. How can this thing actually work for anything to begin with? I mean, it doesn't talk. I don't even know if the thing is sentient. It just does what it feels like and isn't afraid of anything. I did that exactly the opposite, shouldn't I? Oh well, the space station's going to explode for some reason. And I believe these are all dead scientists, so no reason to worry about saving them. But I believe the entire reason they have this place rigged to explode is that they don't want the Metroid getting out, even though Ridley took it, I guess. What does Ridley want with a Metroid anyway? It seems kind of stupid. But how does he fly through space to begin with, assuming Ridley is a boy? I don't even know that. How does it fly through space? I can't fly... Well, I can, but that's with my spaceship. I can't fly through space without a spacesuit or a spaceship. How does Ridley do it? Once again, if it's spoiling anything that happens later on, don't tell me. Go back and delete that comment. Yes, I know you commented with a spoiler. Delete it. Maybe I'm too paranoid about spoilers. I mean, I'll try not to complain about it later on if you guys are being nice enough about it. I don't imagine it'd be too much of an issue. But, I mean, if it comes to something like a blind run where the whole point is me not knowing what I'm doing, the worst thing for you to do is... This looks really suspicious. The worst thing for you to do is to spoil it for me. Because that not only makes it less fun for me, but it's less fun for you to watch because I'll know what I'm doing, what's going on. So as much as I'm sure that it'll frustrate some of you, don't tell me where secrets are, don't tell me how to beat a boss or anything like that. If I haven't already displayed that I am a complete idiot that will never be able to figure this out on my own, please assume I will be able to eventually. Now, from what little I know about the original Metroid game, I believe this is supposed to be, if not a reference to, the exact same area as the final area in the game, including where you fought Mother Brain. I guess that's what they were showing in the beginning. But none of this I really know for sure, since I'm not very familiar with the Metroid storyline. And like I said at the beginning, that's because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything from this game. I really do expect to have a lot of fun with this. This game was a lot of fun to play in the stream. And I don't know if I wound up dying at the precise point when the game started to get harder. But this really does seem like... Yeah, this thing I couldn't really figure out what it was. You can't interact with it in any way, it just looks at you. But I do hope to have a lot of fun with this. A lot more fun with this than... Well, I wouldn't say more fun with this than games I already know about, but... It'll be a different kind of project, one that I haven't done before, and... I'm actually really excited to get this thing started, because I've been meaning to do it since the stream. It's just too busy doing other games. And I don't think I'll talk over one bit of those fanfares, because I really like that fanfare. But, yeah, I imagine I'm going to be missing a lot of secrets, a lot of techniques and stuff that you guys will probably be yelling at me for not knowing. I'm sorry if that upsets anybody, but that's just how I prefer to do things. And if it bothers you guys enough to the point where you can find me a spoiler-free walkthrough, which I would not be using to spoil anything for myself, more to look back at areas I've already been to and seen if there are any secrets I missed. Or if you guys would prefer me not to look at anything at all and risk this most likely not being 100% run since I don't know where anything is, that's fine too. In fact, tell me your opinions on that, whether or not, I mean, how much time I should spend looking for secrets and stuff. Because I really don't know... Oh, what's the thing? I don't know how much time I should dedicate to looking for those and exploring more than actually just playing the game, because I'll have to come to some sort of balance in terms of progression versus exploration. I mean, a big part of this game is exploration, and finding where stuff is. But of course, it's also boring as hell if you don't see me getting anywhere or doing anything interesting, so I'm also keeping that in mind. Now, I mean, I could just as easily, you know, do a little bit of exploration off-screen, and if I find anything interesting, I can... Wow, this is getting a little bit weird. But I could just as easily do the exploration off-screen, and if I find something interesting or worthwhile to show, I could just cut back to it. And, I mean, stuff like this I'll be asking your opinions on, because I really don't know what the best for that would be. And you guys would know that better than I would, so there you go. I mean, I'm hoping to make this a little bit more interactive than most of my other LPs, simply because I don't know what I'm doing. You guys know better than I do. I don't think I can get the thing in the blue door yet. I don't remember ever actually getting to the other side of that blue door. But I'll be looking for your opinions, because you guys know this game a lot better than I do, and can give me advice on how I should be blindly going about this. But if you're going to give me advice, be as general about it as possible, because I don't want anything spoiled. That's a neat sound effect. Criteria. Just gotta get a quick look around here. So that's where the ship is. Down there is where we were. Well, I guess I should make my way over the S over there, which is a save point. And I guess that'll be the end of the episode, but I mean, like I said, I want to make this a little bit more interactive than most of my other projects, because I've never done this before. And if you guys have any advice to give me in terms of how I should be going about exploring, or if there are any particular things I should be looking for in terms of secrets that I would never be able to figure... Well, okay, let me take that back. I don't want you to tell me anything about this game at all until it gets to a point where it looks like I will never figure it out on my own. No matter how much it bothers you, and I know it's going to really bother a lot of you that have played these before, but I do not want to know anything unless I look like a complete idiot. Or, I said that was a save point, wasn't it? Yeah, that's where I should stop, I guess. So, next time we'll continue on through here. This is UniversalGiant, and I'll see you guys then.